When you take a photo of the Milky Way, it should look something like this. But if most people try to do this from their home, they'll end up with a picture that looks a little more like this. That's because of this thing called light pollution. If you search that term, you'll end up seeing charts like this. But here's the problem. These charts, they're just graphics. So I'm gonna be hitting the road, traveling to every level of light pollution to photograph the Milky Way so I can create this chart using real images. Because I wanted to find out just how far from the city do you have to go before you can start capturing the Milky Way, and how much difference does it actually make? Now, to do this, Nikon sent me this Z5 II camera with the Nikkor Z 14-24mm f2.8s lens, an awesome combo for night sky photography. So huge shout out to Nikon for supporting this adventure. To kick things off, I'm gonna be starting in one of the worst places you can try and photograph the Milky Way from, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta is known for a lot of things. Sports, Coca-Cola, the airport. But what it's not known for is its view of the sky. Dude, I can't see a single star here. I do see a plane though, the airport. Anyways, we gotta find where the Milky Way is first so we can take the photo. Okay, my planetary map is saying the Milky Way is right there. Let's go shoot it. Well, that's sad. I swear the Milky Way is there, just not here. Now, I need to mention what I'm doing. Wait for the train. That's how you know I'm in the city. Okay, now that the train's gone, I need to talk about how I'm taking these photos. At each location, I'll take 2 photos. One with the same settings each time to keep it fair, and one with my best attempt to bring out the Milky Way. Now, most of the time, Milky Way photos you see have a lot of post-processing done to them to make them more dramatic. But for this video, I'm not gonna be doing anything crazy like that. This way you can get a better feel for what the actual results look like. So that really bright, washed out image you just saw was taken with the same settings I'm gonna be using at every location. But what if I adjust the settings? Can we see the Milky Way then? Nope, can't see it. I tried a bunch of different settings and none of them worked. That's the Milky Way from the inner city, but what if you go just outside of the inner city, which I guess they call the city, I guess. Anyways, I'm here in Springfield, Missouri to find out. And surprise, surprise, it's no different. Still can't see a thing. And again, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get the Milky Way to come out. So whether you're in the city or inner city, there's absolutely no way you're gonna get a shot of the Milky Way. Now, you might be wondering how I'm picking places to shoot from. And if you're not, well, too bad, I'm gonna tell you anyway. I'm using a light pollution map, which ranks the sky brightness of a location on a scale of 1 to 9. This is called the Bortle scale. A Bortle 9 is a place like Atlanta or New York City, where the sky is so bright at night, you can hardly see a full moon. That was my awful attempt at a joke, I'm sorry. But for real, when you look up at night from one of these places, you can barely see like 2 or 3 stars, and one of them is probably a planet or a plane. On the other end of the scale is a Bortle 1, the darkest skies you can be under. It's so dark from these places, the Milky Way actually casts shadows on the ground. But here's the thing, the scale, it's not super scientific. It's objective. It's based on what people think they can see when they look up at night. A true proper way to do this would be to use tools and data like a sky quality meter, which measures the sky in magnitudes per arc seconds, satellites to measure the upward radiance, photometric estimation when you point. But we're not doing any of that today. The Bortle scale is good enough. So the last 2 I did were a Bortle 9 and a Bortle 8. But what about a 7? Well, I'm here just outside of the city of Boise, Idaho for this one. A Bortle 7 is supposed to be like a suburban city transitional space something. I don't really know what that means, but there's a freeway behind me and lots of lights around. So I'm just gonna say that that's the indicator we're in a Bortle 7. So let's take the shot and see if we can find the Milky Way. And it looks like trash. The camera's great, but the light pollution makes it look like trash. Okay, I'm gonna try shorter and a lower ISO, because I think I see something. As I test these settings out, I feel like I can maybe sort of kind of see a little bit of Milky Way. Now that's to my trained eye. And if you didn't know what to look for, I don't think you would have any clue that these tiny little features are Milky Way features. So Bortle 7, I'm still gonna say no Milky Way. But seeing this stuff makes me really hopeful for Bortle 6. Okay, We good? All right. I wasn't going to shoot tonight because we had a rain and thunder forecast for like an entire week. But dude, there's stars out. I can actually see it's clear. So I had to take advantage and come out here and shoot. I'm here just outside of Auburn, Alabama, which is a Bortle 6. The reason why I'm not getting the Milky Way isn't because of the camera or the lens. It's light pollution that's the problem. As a matter of fact, this Nikon Z5 II camera is incredible for all types of low light photography, like concert photography and astrophotography. And it has the flip out screen, which is like a must have for me on any camera that I use. All right, well, let's take a photo and see if we can pick up the Milky Way. Ooh, what we get? Oh my gosh, yes, okay. Definitely seeing the Milky Way in here. Seeing those dust lanes, the bright regions, and the core. Now, it's not exactly what I'm looking for when I say I want to shoot the Milky Way. I still have a long ways to go to get those detailed shots. Comparing Bortle 6 to the 7, it's an improvement, but not by much. Sure, it's visible, but just barely, so I wouldn't recommend a spot like this for Milky Way photography. To my eyes, dude, I can't see any part of the Milky Way from this Bortle 6. But you know what's really sad? Most people in the world live in those light polluted skies, Bortle 6 through 9. That's because 99% of people in the US and Europe live in light polluted skies. And even crazier, more than 90% of Americans have said they've never seen the Milky Way with their eyes. So what category do you fall in? Leave a comment and let me know. Can you see the Milky Way when you look up from where you live? Have you ever seen the Milky Way before? You know, all this stuff got me thinking, if light pollution is stealing our view of the stars, what else is it doing? According to the American Medical Association, these artificial lights at night disrupt our sleep cycles. This hurts our sleep quality, which increases the risk of obesity, depression, even heart disease. But humans aren't the only thing light pollution affects. Light pollution has been linked to the spread of diseases like West Nile virus and malaria. So, how do we fix this? Well, you can shield your lights, dim them down, and swap harsh bulbs for low-impact LEDs. Now, I don't want to get too doom and gloom here, so let's bring the energy back. Can you actually see me? So the Bortle 6, we just barely started to see the Milky Way. That's why I'm really excited to give this Bortle 5 location a try. I'm outside of Auburn still, halfway between Columbus, Georgia, and Auburn, Alabama. This is a Bortle 5, which is considered a suburb. Looking around, it doesn't seem very suburby to me. It feels a bit more rural, but maybe that's because I grew up in Southern California. Now, I can actually see the Milky Way with my eye, and my eyes haven't even adjusted to the dark yet, which is super promising. So I'm stoked to take this photo. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, here we go. Here it comes. Dude, that's the Milky Way. This is actually pretty incredible. I didn't expect to see much of the Milky Way from here. Those darker regions of it are really starting to take shape. Compared to the Bortle 6, there's a significant difference in the glow from light pollution, but I can still tell it's affecting my ability to pick up the details in there, making it look washed out near the horizon. So Bortle 5, the Milky Way is now easily visible, but it still gets washed out by sky glow. Welcome to Bortle 4. That's right, I'm in a Bortle 4, just about an hour and a half further south of Auburn, Alabama. I'm getting eaten alive by bugs out here. Oh my God. Oh, dude. Oh my gosh. The bugs. All right, well, I'm gonna hurry up and take these photos because these bugs are out of control. This is our tried and true 15-second exposure, f2.8, ISO 1600. All right, there it is. Wow. Now we're really starting to see more of the detail, and the dust lanes are showing up. What I notice about this photo is it's considerably darker at ISO 1600 compared to the Bortle 5 shot that I had. And there's some light pollution in the horizon you can see. Let's bump up the ISO and see what happens. Oh yeah, the Milky Way just really stands out. The background's quite bright, and that's because this is a Bortle 4, which means that there still is some artificial light pollution that's affecting this image. But still, being able to get shots like this from a Bortle 4, fantastic. This is awesome. So there you have it. Milky Way photography, yes. Bortle 4, thumbs up. Guess what? I'm in a cow field. There's cows all over the place. And the coolest part is this cow field happens to be a Bortle 3. Over here, those sparkling lights, that's Baker City, Oregon. You know, I've been photographing the Milky Way for many years, and I've used all sorts of equipment. Some were really good, and others made life a little difficult. But this Nikon Z5 II, honestly, I can say it's one of the best nightscape astro cameras I've ever used. And, they're not telling me to say that. The autofocus on stars feature is the coolest thing I've ever used. Before, I used to have to find a bright star or a planet and then manually focus so I can see if I'm kind of in focus. This thing, I literally just touch the screen and I'm in focus in about 4 seconds. The other thing I love about this camera that makes astrophotography super simple is the starlight view. Before, if I wanted to frame up my shot, I would have to take multiple test shots, sitting there waiting, just trying to frame things up perfectly. But with the starlight view, I can just turn it on and see in the dark. It's so cool. So let's give it a go and shoot from Bortle 3. This is the result I got, and your first instinct may be to say, that looks really dark. But here's the thing. There's very little light pollution to drown out the image. That means if I increase the ISO, or the camera's light sensitivity, I can bring out tons more detail in the image. If I do the exact same thing from, say, the Bortle 5 image, you'll see how the artificial light drowns out those details. And when I do it to a Bortle 6, it's even worse. Comparing this to the Bortle 4 shot, you can really see a lot more contrast in the Milky Way structure. So if you want to shoot the Milky Way, a Bortle 3 is a great place to do it from. We're here at everybody's second favorite number, 2. I'm out here at a Bortle 2 location in Eastern Oregon. I'm actually just outside where I'm running one of my luxury workshops where we teach people how to photograph deep space. But we're not here to photograph galaxies. We're here to see what the Milky Way looks like. So let's get to it and see what we get. So here's the photo with the same settings as all the other shots. I also took a bunch of other shots at various settings, and let me tell you, they look awesome. Looking at this shot compared to the Bortle 3 image, those colors in the Milky Way core are a lot more noticeable. So if you're going to do Milky Way photography, I highly recommend going from the 3 to the 2. You will see a difference. Milky Way photos don't get much better than this, except for a place where it's even darker. The final spot in my journey. And this time I'm heading to the literal middle of nowhere in Oregon. Well, here we are. Bortle 1. We finally made it. If you look that way, there's no lights. If you look that way, there's no lights, only starlight. Dude, it is freaking immaculate out here. I mean, just seeing the Milky Way with my eye. It's amazing the first time you see it. It's amazing the 1000th time you see it. But anyways, I'm rambling on. Let's take a look and see what the Milky Way looks like from a Bortle 1 site. As expected, the first shot is dark. I don't really notice a difference with these settings when compared to the Bortle 2 image. We're gonna shoot the Milky Way with ISO 6400, and here we go. Dude, there's literally nothing out here, but then a car rolled up like 100 yards away. It's kind of creepy. Anyways, okay, here it is. All right, let's take a look, I can't believe how beautiful it is. What if I bump the ISO up even more? What would happen? What would happen? Let's just see. Now I'm just playing. This is so much fun. Here it is. Oh, this is what it's all about, baby. Oh my gosh. That is so sick. Look at the detail. Honestly, I don't know what else to say. Like, Bortle 1 is legit. If you're going to be doing any astrophotography, this is the place to be, a Bortle 1. But that's not all I can get from here. I photographed other regions of the Milky Way from this Bortle 1. Check out this shot I got of the Cygnus region. This one here, I pointed towards Cassiopeia. You can even see the Andromeda Galaxy. So how does this improved image compare to the Bortle 2? Well, the Milky Way definitely looks brighter and slightly more detailed. The color also seems to be more intense from this Bortle 1. Compared to the Bortle 3, it's pretty clear that the darker the skies, the better the result. And the Bortle 4, it doesn't even compare. So with this image, I can finally complete my very own Bortle scale chart. I know not everyone can make it out to a true dark sky site, but space should be for everyone. And this chart proves that you can capture the Milky Way even if you don't have access to a Bortle 1. So I'm giving this chart away for free. Just sign up to my free Patreon tier and you'll get it. There's a link in the description below, because the more people photographing the stars, the more people we can inspire to look up. Thanks so much for watching, and big shout out to Nikon for supporting this project. Check out the Z5 II camera, and if you love space and stargazing, take a look at some of my other videos.